Okay, now we're getting to the part of the course that I find very interesting. Stock options, call options, put options, derivatives they're called. They're financial instruments whose values are derived from, hence derivatives, from other financial assets. So let's just start off with the plain vanilla. The main two are call options and put options. Let's start with a call option. A call option, if you own a call option, then you own the right to buy a stock for an exercise price E at expiry. So its payoff is given by the maximum of either the difference between the stock and the exercise price, or nothing, zero. It's probably easier to see this in a graph. Let's take a look at the graph here. It's a payoff option for a call. So if the stock is zero, then I've set the exercise price here equal to $10. So if the stock is selling for $1 and I own a call option, I own the right to buy the stock for $10, but of course I wouldn't exercise that right. I would just go out into the market and buy it for $1. So the actual call option, that right, that piece of paper that I own, is worth nothing. It only really starts to be worth something if the stock gets past, if we're in the money, if the stock is worth more than $10. So let's say the stock is worth $13. That means at expiry, I get to buy that stock for $10, the exercise price, and I can immediately turn around and sell it in the market for $13. So 13 minus 10, that call option is worth $3. So this and this function is giving me the payoff, what that call option is worth at expiry. And it's this asymmetry that makes the mathematics of pricing these options interesting. Like, how much should I pay for this? How much should I buy this call option for? Let's take a look at what a put is then. So a put option, well, it's the maximum. Now a put option, I'm going to set the same exercise price, but I'm coding put options the right to sell a stock for an exercise price E. So I can make someone, if I own this piece of paper, I can make the writer of the option buy the stock from me for the exercise price of $10. So if the stock happens to be trading for less than $10, so let's say the stock is trading for $7, I can make him buy the stock from me for $10, so that's worth $3, the difference between. So the slope of these lines in both the call option, the slope of this line is -1. Back when we were looking at the call option, the slope was 1. Of course, if the stock is selling at $16, I wouldn't make this guy buy from me for $10. So if the stock is trading bigger than the exercise price, the value of that put option is 0. So here we've got the payoff option, the payoff for a put option with exercise price $10. I have to buy these options. Let's just say that the value, the premium that I would pay for this particular put option was $1. So I'm taking my payoff, what the option is worth, and subtracting $1 from each one of these. So it drops down. Now it's not a payoff diagram, but what I've got here is a profit diagram. Since I have to spend $1, and I can spell profit. Since I have to spend $1 to get it, it lowers the amount of money I have. So even though if the stock was $9, the payoff of this put option would be worth $1, but I had to spend $1 to get it, so the actual profit I would make would be 0. The premium, I made the premium on this put option $1. It lowers, that lowers the whole payoff, lowers that whole asymmetrical curve. It would have done the same thing. It would have lowered that call option. So I have to pay for this. Now the $1, I just made that up. I did say if the premium is $1, and we introduced the term premium, the value of the option, what I would have to pay for it in the market, or what you would sell it for in the market. I guess one of the questions, well, the big question that we're going to answer in this course is, how do I figure out what's a fair price for one of these options? Okay, so we're back to the payoff of a call option. And I guess one of the first questions we might ask is, okay, we're going to figure out how much it would cost to buy one of these calls, but who would buy this? Why would I buy this? Well, there's two reasons why I might want to buy an option. One of them is speculative. Let's just say, for instance, that I think the stock is currently trading at $10, let's say, and I think it's going to go up to $11. Well, what I could do is take $100, buy 10 stocks, and if I'm right and the stock goes up to $11, then I've made 10% on my money. Or if I'm really sure that the stock is going to go up to $11, instead of actually buying the stock, I could buy the call option on the stock. And just for argument's purpose, let's say the premium or the cost of that call option was $1. So for that $100, I could get 10 stocks, or I could get 100 call options. Now, if the stock does go up to $11, that those 100 call options start again. Who buys these call options? Why would I want to buy one of these call options? Well, let's say, as an example, that I think that the stock that's currently trading at $10 is going to go up to $11, and I've got $100 to invest. Well, I could take that $100, buy 10 shares of stock, it's trading at $10, and if I'm right, I'll make a 10% profit. I'll be able to sell it for the 10 shares for $111 tomorrow. A 10% profit. That's not bad. If instead I take that $100 and I buy call options. Now let's say the call options are selling for 50 cents. With that $100, I can buy 200 call options. If I'm correct and the stock does go up to $11, then the value of those call options, each of those 200 call options I have is $1. So I'll have $100 I paid. No, I have 200 of them. So I have $200 and I only spent $100. That's 100% profit. So people might buy it as a way to, the book talks about gearing or leverage. It's a way to get a higher return on your money. Now, that sounds great. Of course, the caution is, if I'm wrong and the stock doesn't go anywhere, then my call options that I bought expire worthless and I end up with nothing. In fact, since I paid 50 cents a piece for them, even if I'm right a little bit and the stock goes up to $10.50, I still don't make any money because I ended up paying 50 cents. My profit diagram, remember our profit diagram is that payoff diagram dropped down 50 cents. So I wouldn't break even. I would just end up with no money. Whereas if I was wrong when I bought the stock and it went down to $9, well, I would lose 10%, but I would still have some value. I'd still have 90% of my investment left. So it's riskier to buy the options. So that is, using options to speculate is actually not the way to use, that's the irresponsible way to use them. But it is a way to use them. The responsible way to use an option would be, well, let's go back to that put option. Now think about the situation where I own one of those stocks. I own a stock, a share in this company, and it's trading at $10. And I need to sell that tomorrow. I need to sell that $10 stock tomorrow to finance a car purchase or something. Anyway, I need the money tomorrow. If the stock goes up, bonus, I got more money, nicer car. If the stock goes down, well, I really needed it to be at $10. So what I could do is I could buy a put option. So if the stock goes down, my put option goes up in value, balancing my loss. So if the stock, let's say, is currently trading at $10, the stock's currently trading at $10. If it goes up to $11, let's say, then my put option I bought is worth nothing, which is bad, but my stock is worth $11, so that's good. If the stock goes down to $9, then that's bad, but my put option is now worth $1, so I still have the $10, the stock, $9 stock, and the $1 value of the put option. So it's like an insurance policy that I could purchase that caps my loss. So now I understand why people would want to buy options, either to speculate or more responsibly to provide some insurance. Why would I want to sell an option? Well, let's go back to the call idea, and we're going to consider why I might want to sell a call option. The short answer is going to be hedging. So there's my call option. Let's just say that I own a stock. I own a stock and it's currently at $10. So I bought the stock and it's currently at $10. But I'm worried about what's going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow the stock could go up to $11 or it could drop down to $9. Well, how about I sell 2 calls? So I'm going to sell 2 calls. What does the payoff look like for selling 2 calls? Well, that's 1 call. 2 of them would be just 2 times. Selling would be a negative. So if I sell 2 calls, there's my option payoff. And let's say I sell them for 50 cents a piece. Again, how did I know if they're worth 50 cents? We'll have to figure out the math to get numbers like 50 cents to value it. But if I sell the 2 calls that at 50 cents a piece, that gives me $1. So I've got the stock and I've got $1 and I've sold 2 calls, written 2 calls. Now, if the stock goes up to $11, well, I have the stock, it's worth $11. I still have the $1 cash. So that's my stock, that's my cash. And what are those 2 calls? Well, if it goes up to $11, each one of those calls I lose $1 on. So the total sum here, 11 plus the $1 minus the 2 calls that I sold, still sums to $10. If the stock drops to 9, I still have the cash. My calls are worth nothing. Remember, I sold them, so the guy, whoever bought them, is not going to cash them in, and that still sums to $10. So in both instances here, in both instances of the future, whether the stock goes up or the stock goes down, my portfolio stayed the same. So I eliminated risk, I hedged risk. That's going to be one of the main lessons we learn in this course, is how to do this hedging. How do I know how much the call costs? How do I know how many calls to buy? Those are the things that we're going to investigate in the upcoming chapters.